let's book the next 5 years of the Miz's WWE career. The Awesome Truth are currently on a quest to recapture the World Tag Team Championships from JD McDonough and Finn Balor. The duo of Miz and Truth get an opportunity at the titles on a special Halloween-themed episode of Raw in October. The Miz lands a skull-crushing finale on JD and goes for the cover, but Dirty Dom gets up on the apron and distracts the referee. Truth and Dom both get in the ring, and Truth says, "You aren't a part of this match, Eddie Guerrero." Truth thinks he stood toe-to-toe with Eddie Guerrero at the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view in 1997. And worst of all, he believes that he is Rey Mysterio Jr. He somehow lands a 619 on Dom to a huge pop from the fans, but before he can attempt a West Coast pop, Finn Balor sweeps his legs and knocks him off the apron. The chaos allows JD to roll up the Miz with a schoolboy, and the Judgment Day manage to pull off the win and retain the titles. Furious, yet still determined to win back the tag team gold, the Miz tells Truth to put the last week behind them and look to become #1 contenders once again. They would get that opportunity on Raw a couple of weeks later, defeat an American Made to become #1 contenders. As their tag team title match at Survivor Series approaches, Miz tells Truth that this match will be the turning point for both of their careers. Survivor Series weekend arrives and the Miz is determined to win back the tag team gold. However, as he arrives to the arena on Saturday night in Vancouver, Canada, he is informed that R-Truth appeared last night at TNA's Turning Point to try and win the tag team titles. The Miz is at his wit's end with Truth. On Raw, he said Survivor Series will be the turning point of our careers, not that we'll be at TNA Turning Point. Stuck in North Carolina until Saturday afternoon, Truth arrives late to Vancouver Survivor Series. Forced to face both JD and Finn alone, Miz loses the 2-on-1 handicap match, and Truth unfortunately finally arrives as the match concludes. Truth apologises to Miz, and it seems as though the apology is accepted, until Miz lands a skull-crashing finale as his back was turned. As the new year arrives, The Miz attempts to leave the memory of Awesome Truth in his past. He has been a lower mid-carder for too long. He sets out on becoming Intercontinental Champion once again, and says that once upon a time, he made the IC title relevant. But now, it's time for the IC title to make The Miz relevant. A 20-man battle royal is held to determine the #1 contender for the IC title, and both The Miz and R-Truth are participants in the match. It becomes apparent that Truth has forgot all about Miz turning on him, and starts to help The Miz, as if they were still a tag team. Miz goes along with it, as Truth is actually eliminating people from the match. The tag team combination helps Miz and Truth make it all the way to the final two. Miz tells Truth to eliminate himself, so that The Miz can win. Truth looks like he was about to eliminate himself, but instead, he clotheslines Miz over the top rope. Truth gets on the mic and says, "I ain't as stupid as you think, Miz. I know you hit me with a skull-crushing finale at Survivor Series. I've been waiting for the right moment to get my revenge. And now, you'll see me challenge current champion Bronson Reed for the European Championship at Elimination Chamber." The Elimination Chamber PLE arrives and Truth battles Reed for the IC title, not the European Championship. Truth tries his best in the match, but really, he is no match for Reed. The Miz makes his way to the ring and taunts Truth on the microphone. After a ref bump, The Miz attempts to throw the microphone at Truth, but instead, it whacks Reed square in the face. A furious Bronson Reed annihilates The Miz, before turning his attention to R-Truth, finishing the match off with a tsunami. The Miz and Truth have to settle their differences at Wrestlemania. A match between the two is booked for the grandest stage of them all, in a loser leaves town match, meaning the loser will leave Raw for good. The match was highly entertaining to watch, with both competitors using crazy weapons like Slim Jims, megaphones, and even a door. Truth almost has the match won with an impressive display, but The Miz plants him with a skull-crushing finale to defeat Truth on the grandest stage. With his feud now in the past, The Miz enters the Money in the Bank ladder match a couple of months later. He would shockingly go on to win the match, which marks his second Money in the Bank ladder match win, and establishes himself as the second person in history to win 2 Money in the Bank briefcases. Surprisingly, The Miz states that he has no interest in winning a world title right now. He wants the title that made him a fan as a little kid. He wants the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz knows he's only one title reign away from matching Chris Jericho's record of 9 IC title reigns, and just 70 combined days from catching up with Gunther's record of combined days as champion. At Fastlane in March of 2026, Ilya Dragunov would defend his IC title against Randy Orton. Orton's emerged as the new challenger for the IC title and looks to add one more reign to his record in the final years of his career. Orton would have Dragunov beat and ready to land an RKO, but in shades of 2010, when The Miz cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Orton, this time he cashes in on Orton's opponent, but not before landing a skull-crushing finale to Randy Orton. The Miz would capitalise on a down Dragunov, cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase and winning the IC title for the 9th time in his career. The Miz would face a near impossible challenge at Wrestlemania 42 as he would defend his newly won IC title against both Ilya Dragunov and Randy Orton in a triple threat. The odds would be truly stacked against The Miz, and he would ultimately drop the title to Dragunov in the match, who reclaimed his Intercontinental Championship. Following a failed WrestleMania, The Miz would begin to feud with the newest member of the Raw roster, LA Knight. Miz and Knight would clash on the mic in highly entertaining promos. They would clash 2 times at PLEs in 2026, firstly at Money in the Bank, where The Miz would win via shady circumstances. Their second encounter would take place at SummerSlam, where LA Knight would get the win after a decent back and forth encounter. Their rivalry would end with a final bout between the two on an episode of Raw, in a steel cage. Despite his efforts, The Miz would lose, and Knight would escape the steel cage. Miz would once again drift around the mid-card for the remainder of 2026. In 2027, The Miz realises that he may only have one more shot at winning the IC title. He needs just one title reign to have the all-time most reigns with the title, and is just 29 days as champion away from beating Gunther's record for combined days. In what could be his final attempt to earn a shot at the gold, The Miz would manage to defeat Tony D'Angelo on Raw to qualify for the 8-man ladder match, scheduled for WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, The Miz has the odds stacked against him, but in a show of pure luck and some veteran instincts, he manages to snatch the title and pick up his record-setting 10th Intercontinental Championship win in a grueling 8-man ladder match. Following WrestleMania, The Miz would be drafted to Smackdown along with the IC title. The Miz would surpass Gunther's record for the most combined days, confirming his status as having the most reigns with the IC title and the most combined days. During his reign, we would see the return of The Miz's wife Maryse, accompanying the champion for her final run with the company. He had a lacklustre end to 2026, but 2027 has been one of his best years yet. His lengthy reign with the IC title would finally come to an end at the Night of Champions PLE in September, where he would drop the title to Trick Williams. Miz's 10th reign with the IC title would immortalise him as arguably the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. The Miz has done it all in this business, and the curtain is closing on his in-ring career. In 2028, The Miz would say that his job in the WWE as the A-lister has come to an end. He has appointed himself as the Hollywood agent for chosen WWE superstars, negotiating extravagant contracts for his future A-listers of WWE. He calls his group the A-List Talent Agency, and his first client is none other than A-Town Down, Austin Theory, altering his A-Town Down catchphrase to A-List Town Down. Later in the year, The Miz adds both Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo to the agency, claiming that Tony and Channing will be bigger Hollywood stars than Robert De Niro, Marlon Brando, and Al Pacino. The sky is the limit for these two when attached to the A-List Talent Agency. He would also become the agent for the self-proclaimed Hollywood heartbreaker, Tiffany Stratton, who was the current WWE Women's Champion. The Miz would guide Stratton to several title defences over the year. Miz would become the modern-day Bobby Heenan or Jimmy Hart, a manager who manages many different heels on the roster, all under the umbrella of the A-List Talent Agency. Miz would send out a message to the roster saying that if you want success in this industry and you want to be a star, whether you're a current superstar or someone who's been out of the spotlight, come forward and apply to be represented by the A-List Talent Agency. The Miz's message will be heard clearly by future stars like the newly named Magnificent Gio Vinci and Angel Garza, who were welcomed into the agency with open arms. However, for every good acquisition, the agency is left to deal with unwanted applications. The Headbangers resurface in WWE, looking to join the agency, but The Miz refuses the team as they are around 60 years old at the time. On one episode of Smackdown in the summer, Mick Foley returns under the Dude Love moniker and appears that he wants to join the agency, but The Miz rejects him. The following week, Cactus Jack returns, but this time he arrives with the intent to cause pain, as he pulls out a light tube which causes The Miz to flee. The next week, Foley returns again, but this time as Mankind. Mankind apologises to The Miz for what Cactus Jack tried to do last week, and The Miz accepts his apology, but Mankind pulls out Mr. Socko and delivers a mandible claw to The Miz. After the incident with Mankind, The Miz says enough is enough. Applications are now closed. Clearly people think this agency is a joke, but in fact, it's very real, and if people can't take us seriously, then we will make them. The agency start picking up win after win, and eventually, title after title in the new year. The A-list talent agency would get off to a great start in 2029. Austin Theory would have a strong showing in the Rumble, despite not winning the match. Tiffany Stratton would continue to defend their women's championship, D'Angelo and Stax would climb the tag team ladder, and Vinci and Garza would continue to impress in singles competition. At WrestleMania, Tiffany Stratton would retain her women's championship, and Austin Theory would achieve what The Miz calls the biggest achievement in WWE, picking up the Intercontinental Championship. Due to The Miz's history with the Intercontinental Championship, he has attempted to try and reclaim the belt one final time. After some doubts aired by Theory about whether The Miz can still go, The Miz challenges his own number one talent in the A-list talent agency. Theory accepts, and The Miz battles Theory in his final ever match, at the Money in the Bank PLE. The Miz has had some great moments at Money in the Bank over the years, but this night would prove to not be one of his finest, as he would lose to Theory in a competitive and respectful encounter in his final WWE match. The Miz, as a two-time Grand Slam champion, says he's achieved everything there is to achieve as a wrestler. Now, he intends to be the most accomplished manager and Hollywood agent in WWE history. To do this, he needs to expand his ranks, which he does over the coming months, adding the toxic Gigi Dolin and the Scottish supernova Noam Dar. The Miz has done it all in WWE. He has left a significant impact during his in-ring career, but perhaps his biggest impact will be the A-list talent agency and the potential portfolio of esteemed champions. Whether he decides to put on his wrestling gear one more time for another match, it's unknown, but one thing the fans do know is that the A-list talent agency is the premier production in WWE. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to become a member of this channel, you can join for as little as 99 cents per month to receive access to exclusive badges and member polls where you can vote on future episodes. Or for just $3.99, you can gain early access to all my video uploads, where you'll be able to watch the videos a few hours earlier than everyone else, as well as be featured on the credits of my videos as a member shoutout. For more information and to join as a member, click the link in the description of this video. Thank you all for the support, and I'll see you on the next one.